asshole.
Alright, it's streaming. No more cursing.
Are we streaming?
It started. It just takes a minute for everything to catch up. I'm waiting for Mr. YouTube to say, "Hi, we are live."
Okay.
My
So I didn't know we were doing live on YouTube.
We're doing live on YouTube today. I am
right.
going to do the replay on the Facebook.
And it'll stay on YouTube.
It will stay on YouTube. We'll have a little better quality.
Cool.
That was the one thing I didn't like about re-downloading the stream from Facebook to put on YouTube was Facebook compresses it and does extra stuff. We've got enough compression just from the live stream itself.
Gotcha.
So the viewers are on YouTube, so we will go live on YouTube once again, and yeah, I like YouTube anyway. So, but yeah, we are live, and
we are.
If you would like to introduce yourself, good sir.
Hi, my name is Keith. Mark's behind the camera, the little tiny cameras. And we are going to continue working on my stone barn. And it's a watercolor.
Part 4 today.
Part 4. God, it's taking forever. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, this is an ongoing adventure. We are kind of I'm just painting online, explaining as I go what I do. So, should I go ahead and get started, or do you have anything you want to say?
Well, real quick, so they're looking at the painting right now.
Cool.
You want to maybe talk about what we've touched on already and what your plan is for today's video?
Okay. Well, today I'm going to start this barn that I'm working on is going to be kind of half stuccoed, half old rock. It was rock, obviously, that, the stucco is now fallen off. So we're going to get that kind of half and half look. I'm going to continue working on getting the tree behind the building finished, and also maybe try to get the rest of the stone walls in. And then, depending on how much time is left, if there's time left, I'm going to start working on value, trying to get a little more depth going into this piece of art. So I'm going to begin with, I'm going to start by, I'm going to add a little bit of color, a little bit of value to the one side of the building so that I can get kind of a little bit of a shadow on this side. So as you can see, I have chosen this side. And I didn't wet the paper. And I'm just going to kind of drag this down a little bit. And what I'm doing is leaving a little bit of, I'm just kind of scrubbing the paper with my brush. That leaves a little bit of light in the on the side that I'm working on. What I'm trying to do is, kind of break up the value of it a little bit, so it isn't all just one color. So, all right. So I'm going to let that dry. In the meantime,
can you remind everybody where your light source is coming
Where
from?
the hell is the heck is my light? It's kind of coming this way towards the side of the barn.
Okay.
All right.
So the light's behind us, more or less.
Yes, and to the whatever that is.
Are you going to paint our shadow into the?
Yes, I am. And I'm going to somewhere put a happy bird in here too.
Ooh.
And a squirrel. All right, I'm ready. So what I'm going to begin with is I kind of drew in some light lines. I don't know if you can see them or not, but what I did was, what I'm trying to do is I kind of want my rocks to go evenly across the building. They don't always, line up exactly right, but what they, I want them to kind of appear like, whoever built the building kind of knew what they were doing. So as you can see, I'm kind of outlining at first here, and you can see where the stucco is starting. Okay. All right, so what I like to do then is I like to kind of break up the color a little bit, wet some of it, kind of bleed it off a little.
Are you going to paint each individual stone? Or?
No. In fact, what I'm kind of doing is I'm actually painting the outlines of the cracks between the stones. How's that? And no, I will not paint every individual little rock. As you can see, I'm going to leave little areas open. But you can see how I just kind of bringing these rocks across the front of the surface of this building, and you'll see that the lower section of the building will have the kind of whitish stucco that hasn't quite fallen off yet. So half the building is going to be stuccoed and the other half's just going to be the raw rock. All right. You can almost see where the lines are. Now I'm going to paint a few of the lines in so you can kind of see them a little better. That might be easier for you, the audience. Hey, I'm starting to talk like a genuine
internet tainer.
Okay.
That's the going word right now.
Is it really?
That's the buzzword. Internet tainer. Yep.
I'm an internet tainer.
Yep.
I'm an educator too.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not just doing this for your entertainment, that you might actually learn something.
Inter-educator?
Inter-educator.
I have to think of how to combine that one.
That's right.
Now, yeah, because for whatever reason, there's still that divide between people that produce content to share on the internet, regardless of how good they are, versus traditional media where somebody else decides what you're going to watch that day.
Hey, we spit on traditional. Although, except when it comes to watercolors, I'm kind of, sorry, old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as you can see, I've got some light, some light rock. And what I'll go in and I'll start darkening up some of the cracks. I'll start putting other colors in here also. But for right now, I got a little puddle that's I'm going to pull out right there. And if you're wondering where my brush is going, I'm wiping it off on my leg, okay? So I'm going to actually reach over. This is a handy device. They're called paper towels. And
hey, no plugging product that I don't have an affiliate link for.
Yes, if you go to big brand paper towels. So what I'm doing is I'm just lifting out some of this. I had quite a bit of puddling going on, and I don't want to do that. So as you can see, I've got some of the lighter stone. What's going to happen is I'm going to let this dry. Some of it's gray, some of it's the lighter stone that I started with, and we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to go in and we're going to break it up some more, and the shadow cracks for the building will get a lot darker. And so we'll have 2 or 3 different values of brick when I'm done. And then I can kind of color them a little bit here and there later on. For right now, I'm just kind of doing a quick layout. Now I'm going to turn this way. Hopefully that won't annoy you too much. It's never stopped me before.
Nope, I find you completely annoying.
Annoying, I know. I work hard. I work hard at this. Okay, so, all right. So I don't know if you can kind of, I'm kind of drawing my lines across a little bit. Just, I want my, like I said, I want my rocks to be, I don't want it to look like, the building's half falling down. So, They don't all have to be, perfectly in line. And I think back in the day they rarely were, but they did have a pretty good idea of how to, make a wall out of rock. Rock wall. Delicious.
I was just saying the other day, I don't see enough new rock walls going up.
You do not live in Hawaii.
That is true.
That is true, yeah.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, so, yeah. Anyway, yeah, we'd be outside, wouldn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we did, Hawaii, they did a lot of, they had a lot of lava rock, so they built a lot of rock walls, and they were all over the island. And I think it was make work for the people in Hawaii, for the kings. Hey, build me a wall over there. Use that stuff that we got plenty of.
You get a wall. You get a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, your walls are going to connect.
So, this is, so like I said, I'm not too worried about detail. I'm just kind of blocking in these lumps of light and dark. And, just go with it, enjoy it, because it's not that critical. Not yet, anyway. So, but you can see now that my building is starting to take on a bit of texture, a little bit of rock, a little bit of color, and
right now it almost looks like stucco had chipped off to reveal the rock below. I don't know how far down you're going to go with the stone.
That's where you're looking at it.
Okay.
Right now. That's as far down as I'm going with the whole thing. And yes, that's exactly that is the effect I'm going for. Thank God. All right. So.
That was not planned. I honestly had no idea where he was going with this.
Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm grabbing out a little bit of sepia, a little ultramarine blue, okay? And I'm going to give them a little mix. And I'm just going to start getting some darker pieces in here, darker, that are going to represent, the cracks in the building, the cracks between the rocks. Now, what I'm doing is I'm kind of testing, and it's still too, I'd say, a little damp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it set up. I don't want to work wet on this. I want to kind of be a little bit on the drier side. So, because I don't want to do this forever and just keep blending, and I want to get done. I want to get on to the next strange project.
How are you at pronouncing people's names? Because I'm horrible.
I'm the worst.
Oh man, you can't be the worst because I'm the worst.
Okay, what do you got?
We've got a viewer that said, "Hello, Mr. McGuire. It is. I am so sorry. I'm going to butcher your name, not intentionally. It's because I'm horrible at names. If it's not a John Smith, Bakesh Kumar Bahira."
Bashira?
Bahira? No, there's no S in it.
Okay.
Behera.
Well, howdy. Where are you calling from?
Well, they're watching on the live stream. They're chatting, little hellos. JIA Drawing just said hello as well.
Oh, cool.
Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
If you have questions during the live stream, put them in the chat, and when we have a small lull, I'll be sure that Keith knows what the question is, and we'll address it.
If we can.
I can answer anything.
Yeah,
it may not be the right answer,
yeah.
but I can answer it.
We're going to let me answer today. I see where we're at. So anyway, as you can see, I'm just putting in a little darker lines now. Again, I don't want it too detailed. Okay, so actually, I'm going to let this dry up. It's getting there right now as we speak. In the meantime, I'm going to add just a little bit of the sepia that I kind of put in the walls on this side. I can't actually change the color of the wall on this side, so I think maybe I should put a little of that sepia, a little burnt sienna, I believe it was in there. And
Thank goodness. I thought you were never getting to that wall.
yeah, we'll get it. That's my filler work. That's my filler wall when I ain't got nothing else to do. I still have the front too. And I do want to get a little vegetation in here so it isn't, quite as sparse as the...
I have a question myself.
Yes.
So we just watched you put down kind of a base color for that back wall, and then you'll add your detail similar to what you do with the house. Is there
Yes.
a reason you go that direction versus doing maybe the detail first, letting it completely dry, and then doing a light wash? Or is it just personal preference?
Wow. Wow. You could go either way. Honestly, you really could. I think it's me. Just I like getting a color down, and and there are going to be times when I don't, when I'll do the detail, because then I'll wash the color over it, and I can kind of maybe sometimes smear away, give it a little bit of a blend, give it.
It would soften it, I would imagine, most
does.
of the time.
It would soften it. That's exactly the idea.
And for something like that wall, perhaps, because it's farther in the background, I didn't know if that might be an effect to consider in a future painting or in, somebody else's.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Are you telling me? You telling me how to paint? No, it's a good point. It's a valid point too. You could go either way, quite honestly, and get different effects. Mm-hmm. So I think that's interesting, though, that you brought it up.
Yeah, I think I'd like to maybe have you explore that in a later video.
Yeah.
Do washes, detail on top for foreground and middle ground elements, and then do all the background, just to see how it gives us that depth perception and a little more... I'm going to make your life miserable.
Yeah, no, I was just actually thinking, dang.
What's your normal technique? Let's break it.
Yeah, it's over. It is kind of fun. I do teach classes here in Michigan, and the fun part is the students constantly force me to go beyond my capabilities, I guess would be a nice way of putting it.
Your comfort zone.
My comfort zone, exactly. And it's one of those, let's find out. So I like the idea of being able to do that online. In case you didn't know, what I'm doing is there's a tree, there's a house here. I'm putting in a little value, a little shadow while I'm kind of waiting for a couple other things to dry. I'm just getting a little shadow up in here. I meant a lot of shadow up in here. Okay. So I'm going to pull some of this out. But I do want to keep some of it, though, because I kind of think it's fun.
And it'll dry 40% lighter.
Yeah, this won't.
Oh.
But, but I did. I just want to get a little more value going in the background here, just because right now everything's looking very... I'm not going to say one value, but...
I'll say it.
All right, fine.
It's looking a little flat right now. We need some darker tones.
Thanks a lot. So I got a chunk of blue here that's kind of bothering me on my rock wall. I don't want it to be, I want it to kind of be more to the browner side. So it just kind of bled up there, and I'm not blaming, no, I'm kidding. I'm not blaming the blue. However, there. All right, good. So now stop playing with that. One of the things I wanted to do was go back and add a little more color to my to the inside of this building. I really don't. It's dark. I don't want you to see what's in there. I just feel that that is not, what I had was not quite dark enough. So what I'm putting in right now, I'm trying to warm it up a little bit too. So I'm using the sepia. Sepia is actually a combination of, I think, Van Dyke brown and black. And they just kind of mix it for you. So I'm just creating a little more value. And now I'm going to take the indigo. I tend not to use black. I kind of like to mix my blacks. Just most of the time I think regular black paints kind of come out a wee bit flat. So I am trying to give it a little more, punch. Also, I don't want everything to just, I like to kind of mix so there's a little bit of different color to the black, to the area itself that I'm dropping the color into. And that works for you, maybe. All right, so.
If you stopped wanting to eat dinner, we could afford to buy some of those other blacks and see if they're all...
the fine quality blacks, not Bob's blacks. There's a wide range of them. I don't like any of them. I don't. I like very strong blue blacks. That's why I like kind of mixing indigo with just about anything, and you can get a fairly good dark. And as you can see what that did to this picture just by punching those up a little bit. You can kind of see how we need to get more value into certain areas in this picture. So that helps a lot right there, just getting a little more. And don't forget, watercolors do dry 40% lighter. Can't stress that enough. The other thing I love about watercolors, and this is fun when you're teaching classes and stuff, they'll look at me, I'll be demoing, and they'll go, "Oh, that's pretty." And I said, "True. Everything wet is pretty, okay? Watercolors look great when they're wet. They just don't stay that way. So you got to let them dry. You got to learn what the value, how much value, or what the color is going to look like when it's actually dry. If you mix something and it's like this beautiful blue-green, and it's like, oh, that's gorgeous, and then it dries to this kind of grayish green, you're going, okay, you have to learn. And the only way you learn is you got to keep playing. You got to keep working on your, with your watercolors. We're
going to be spray painting gloss seals on stuff. I want to see effects.
Heck yeah.
Things.
And
can I make a mirror coat on your watercolor paper?
No. I told you I was a traditionalist. Leave me alone. But yeah, I'm kind of old school. I don't like a whole lot of gimmicks. There are some fun gimmicks out there though. We talked about salt. Putting salt. I do sea turtles. And the backgrounds are always these corals and stuff. And you'll be amazed, a little bit of salt and a little bit of, cerulean blue, you can make some very cool coral. Very cool coral. I actually said that. All right.
Coral or Carl?
Carl, I did. All right, so I'm going to come back over to my rock wall. Oh, heck no. That one's going to be...
We'll take a quick brief break for a second, and I'm going to remind everybody watching at home to follow the link in the description to Keith's website. There we have a list of all the materials that Keith typically uses in his paintings, from his Schminke brand pan paints to his Lowell Cornell brushes and Arches watercolor paper. I can't remember. Is this the 300 or one?
This is 140.
140.
So
he does use both depending on the painting and how much actual paint he thinks he's going to put down in water.
And how much money I got.
Yeah. So if you appreciate these videos and you would like to help us out a little bit and follow along using the same stuff that Keith uses, follow the links. We have affiliate links at Amazon, Blix, Michaels, Ulrichs, most of the major online providers, so you can still use whoever you're comfortable ordering from. You don't pay any extra from using our links, but we get a small kickback as a thank you for sending you. If you don't want to order online or you're not comfortable, use the list as a checklist to order at your local art supply center just as well. And if you get a chance, I know a few people have sent in links to where we can see their stuff, and we will definitely take a look at some of those and give some feedback if it was asked for. If not, then just we appreciate seeing what you guys are doing as well.
And we are, I think we are, we're not set up quite yet, but we are going to, I think, show off a couple. We have received images of people, what they have done, and I'd like to see them up online. I hope they feel the same way. But I would like to get some of the work that people have done up.
Yes.
So we will be doing that soon.
And the one thing I didn't mention is it's hard to see because we're trying to show more of the painting. If Keith will stop for a second darkening his tree, I can switch back.
Okay.
Just kind of hold and tilt your butcher tray towards this just for a brief second, just enough so people can see.
Can you see?
Yep, that's good. That's good. So what Keith mixes his paint in is a butcher tray. It's an enamel butcher tray, not painted. It's not plastic. It's a baked on coating, enamel coating. It's really good for this kind of stuff because when you're done, you can wipe the color straight out as long as you don't scratch the finish. They last a long time. You can see the colors as they're mixing on the white background. There's no
They do
staining.
not stain. That's the biggest thing. You know, a lot of the plastic, that have all the wells and everything, they're great. I mean, but eventually they stain, and you don't get the pure color. You're no longer looking at pure color.
And then it's big enough, the one that Keith has here, that he can put his schminky paints in the tray that they come in right inside of that pan. Keeps everything nice, neat, clean, and easy to use. Again, links are in the description and on Keith's website for those items.
Excellent.
And back to the regular scheduled program where Keith looks like he is darkening some leaves to add some value to the tree behind him.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little more color going. Just want to make things, again, when you're doing paintings, anything, drawing, you want from very light. I don't know if my hands are,
Well,
my hands are gone. Yeah,
right now, done the painting.
Very light to, very light to very dark is, any good composition would have strong value throughout. Okay.
And do me a favor, push the painting just a smidge towards
This way?
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So, is anybody actually? Am I on? Is my face on?
Your face is really, really tiny.
Excellent.
Just enough so I can prove that it's really you painting this.
Help me. Help me.
I mean, I can get rid of you completely.
Yeah,
but,
no, that's fine. No,
I jump back and forth, but usually I'm on the painting because that's what
Okay.
people are here to see.
yeah, and no, I was just gonna say, I don't have that big an ego. Trust me.
I don't
Except,
believe you.
yeah, I know. Except, he's grown his hair long, and now he's the hippie artist.
I look like Bob Seger, and
Yeah.
I've got
Actually,
viewers. And,
see,
yeah,
that's
your
the thing.
ego is just inflating since we've started.
Yeah,
so.
I'm not sure about the Bob Seger, because without the bandana, my hair kind of forms up like Captain Kangaroo. So I obviously got to get longer. It's got to get longer. So you got to keep working on it till I have beautiful flowing locks.
I'm waiting until you accidentally grow an afro and didn't realize it.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. Me and my son. All right.
Call you Watercolor Bob.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that was a shout out to my son.
I guess he'd be that too. He's not gonna watch though.
Hey, he might.
I'm gonna make him sit down and watch this whole episode.
Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah.
Look,
Just
I
'cause
talked
we-
about you.
Just because we mentioned him,
Yep.
and I am very happy.
Send it to all his friends.
Yeah. That would be nice. All right. So
So what?
the other thing I'm doing right now is I'm dropping a little bit of brown into this dark green, and just to kind of give the tree a little bit of a I'm adding a little red, a little brown, just to kind of break up and maybe get a little dead contrast.
There it comes.
Yep.
I was waiting for it. It hadn't happened yet.
It needed something dead in it. Okay. Yeah, I can't help it. Okay. It just I feel that too much green, too much too much gray.
Yeah. No.
We wanna add a little. I'm adding accents of other color into my tree. So now I've grabbed a little bit of manganese purple, just to create a little bit of shadow color. Shadow doesn't mean it has to be the same color, dark,
What does it mean?
All right, I forgot. I forgot where I was going now. Thank you. We're going to start that. We are starting over, right?
Sure.
We're not live, are we?
Yeah.
Next. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't have to. You can create shadows with other colors and make it a little more vibrant picture. Then a little less same old kind of thing. So,
Miss Jennifer says hello.
Hey, hi Jennifer. Is it a Jennifer I know?
ISAACS.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I know Jennifer Lickers. I wish she were watching right now, but she's probably teaching a class. So, anyway,
the username is, and again, I apologize because I'm going to butcher everybody's name under the sun, not intentionally.
Because that's his job.
But I try to pronounce things phonetically, which doesn't necessarily work out in...
Not with names, anyway.
Yeah. Isaacs family?
Isaac?
Maybe.
Wow, okay.
But she wrote, hi Keith, Jennifer. So I was wondering if it was somebody you knew. But thanks for watching, Jennifer.
Do you want to know something? It might be, but because I have the memory of a snow pea.
Oh, good. Your memory and my pronunciation skills,
exactly.
We're a pair, aren't we?
Yeah, and we're, not going to have any friends left when we're done.
That's why my friends are named Jones.
Yeah. Anyway, so, almost dry here. Got a little more color into the tree. I sound like I'm whining.
It does look better now that it has some other color besides green.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not here to tell you how to paint or anything.
I know.
I'm just waiting to see what happens.
I was going to say the other thing that's kind of fun with trees is I like to, if you ever look at a tree, almost any tree, God knows, you got to have some dead branches in it. Okay, I'm sorry, that was for Mr. Hicks. But it does make it a little more, seems more alive, I think, by having dead things in it. It's not even responding at this point.
It sounds counterproductive, but I know it's true, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. Dead things make other things look more alive.
Yeah, exactly. So, what I'm doing is basically I'm throwing out a few sticks and twigs. Any of my students know exactly what I'm talking about. It just gives it a little more character if the tree has a few little sticks coming out of it. Just makes it look a little more realistic, I think. All right, I don't usually ask this too soon, but I'm going to ask, how's our time?
We're about halfway. We just
halfway. Okay, that's what I want to know. Where I'm going and how I'm doing.
If this is your first time watching one of our live streams, we try to do a solid hour of painting as much as possible within reason, because you do have to wait for the watercolor paint to dry to some degree before you can move on in certain areas. But our goal was to show viewers. We could have did a time lapse. We could have did a sped up video. Only showed the highlights. I wanted people sped up.
Okay.
But we wanted to show people how much time truly can go into creating a finished piece. So this is part 4. So when this is done today, you'll be roughly at 4 hours of continuous painting. And I'm going to guess that it's not going to be finished in this episode. There's going to be more details and little things that Keith's going to want to add to it.
Exactly.
You know, and we're going to get back to doing shorter, 10 to 30 minute, full tutorials and stuff.
How-tos, yeah.
But I wanted people to also see that not everything can be accomplished in 15 minutes when it's a watercolor. If this is the kind of style you want to learn how to paint, it is a patient game, a time-consuming, a waiting game. There's tricks and things people try to tell you that, stick it in the oven, hit it with a blow dryer. We don't necessarily recommend those because it'll affect your color of your paint as well.
Blow dryers. I don't know about that oven thing.
Yeah,
I'm not comfortable with that either.
Well, I said don't do those things.
Yeah, I know. I just I've never heard it mentioned though.
No,
but yeah, some people they'll use a blow dryer, and it's like, don't. It kind of dulls the vibrancy of your watercolor, and that's the last thing you need.
Exactly. So we will get back to regular videos, producing more content. I still think we should continue to do these live streams just so people can see exactly how long it does take to get through an entire painting. And it drives Keith nuts because I make him leave the painting at my house and he can't tweak it and do little things to it.
Make it look better.
Like he would if he had it at home and could grab it any time, because I want you guys not to miss a single step along the way.
Or his mistakes.
Or his
as
mistakes
he does
as well.
Them, yeah. Wow.
Because we all learn from mistakes anyway. And if you see somebody that's been painting for years and years and years and years and years and years,
all right, let it go. Just let it go.
And he makes a mistake, we're all going to at some point. We've watched a couple times today. He's had to soak up a little extra paint because too much came off the brush. It happens. You try to rectify it the best you can. You move on, and
I think honestly, those years and years and years.
And years.
That's what. Just stop it. Anyway, but those years and years and years, I think what you do learn is how to fix things over time. I just want to point out what I'm doing. If you'll notice, I'm just kind of knocking these rocks off pretty quick. I'm just kind of following the pattern. I hope you would note that...
I hate knockoff rocks.
Yeah.
I like real rocks.
I hope you would note, though, do you notice I'm not outlining the top of it? So it just, we go up to the sides and stop. This is, it's not a pen and ink drawing. It's not a coloring book. It's a watercolor. So you want to kind of think about, where you're placing things. All right. So as you can see, I have kind of laid out the rock, the bricks, or no, the rocks rather. And you're going to wonder what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is he's wrecking it. I am coming in and I'm adding just a little value here and there just to kind of break it up and also to soften my line work a little bit. Just I like that, just a little bit of a softness. Now, it doesn't mean, I'm ending it there, but I will say I've gotten awfully blue. So I'm going to grab a new paper towel, and I'm just going to, I want to lift a little bit of what I just did because I want to come back and add a tiny bit of, this is Italian red. I think another version would be, that's close, would be like a brick red. I just want to get some of that in because if you'll notice on the other side of, behind the house, the other side of the rock wall has a bit more brown to it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm adding this Venetian red. And like I said, it's very, brick red would be another great way of saying, what it is, color-wise.
Is it possible, sorry, off topic,
yeah.
ISAACS is Isaac?
Say that again?
The person,
Yeah.
Jennifer, that commented ISAACS. Is that possible? That's Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay, so that might be Isaac's family is the username. Jennifer's who's using it.
Yes.
Do you know a Jennifer that knows an Isaac?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you know what?
That's what I'm
My
thinking.
mom could be on, right?
Yeah.
You know, hi, this is Keith's mom. Really? What's her name? Mom. Yeah.
Old, what's her name? I loved her so.
Yeah. No, I am my.
Sorry, I'm just digging myself.
Yeah.
deeper,
No.
but I'm going-
You're
I'm
digging my hole for me. Yeah. No, my my students, my friends, they all know
Mhm.
I don't introduce people. I don't, please introduce yourselves. I've learned that over the years.
That's true.
I will forget your name right in front of you.
Mhm.
I could know you for 30 years. And it isn't that I don't know you, it's that when I need it, it goes,
I remember the first time I met your son, and we both have the same name. You couldn't introduce us.
Shut up. Yeah, but it's true. I mean,
This is
no, it is. It's my curse, and a lot of people let me run with it too, which is hilarious. They'll actually.
Yeah, they want to watch you sweat.
Yeah, they actually do that on purpose. It's a painful situation for me.
So if you're local and you're watching, make sure when next time you see Keith and he goes to introduce you to somebody, go, "Oh, who is this, Keith?
Yeah, thank
Why
you.
don't you introduce me to your friends? All of them."
I have no friends. I have no friends. Yeah, no, I'm just, I don't know what it is, and I teach children's classes. I do a lot of different fun classes, and I warn the kids right off the bat. It's like, you know what, you can tell me your name right now. They do, and then I will immediately forget it, and I will tell them, you know what, don't worry about it. I will ask you every 5 minutes. I still will not remember. I don't know if you saw what I did. We had a lot of green over here. I introduced a little bit of that Venetian red to the ground just so that I can, take that green and there was a little bit of gold in it too. But I've added a little bit of that red, a little bit of blue. And what I'm doing is I'm creating not only shadow, but I'm also kind of breaking up the landscape, the ground, so that, ground isn't all just green unless you live in, Ireland or Michigan, right? Two of the greenest places I've ever lived. No, I've never been to Ireland. But seriously, Michigan is just the greenest state. All the same green, just to warn you. So yeah, you get creative trying to, break up your values and colors and stuff. But as you can see, what I've done in this shadowy area back here is I've added a little bit of red, a little bit of blue to break that green up and give it a little bit of a shadow and a little bit of value, a little more value. It was all just kind of one value. I'm starting to add now a little bit of value here and there. I lost Mark. I think he went to sleep. Mark.
What?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, it's the value story again. Oh my God. All right, so I've kind of gotten the back wall in. I've added a little more color to the background a little bit. The tree, I've added little sticks and twigs. I'm really, really, really tired of painting rock.
All right, so let's take a second.
Okay.
And there's still some areas where there's not much, just a light wash of color in the foreground around the house, the lower side of the house there.
Down here?
Down there, going off to the to the right and to the left. Let's just talk about what the game plan is with that for a second. So gives you a chance for some of the paint to dry and so the viewers know what
my
to
brain
expect.
to recharge.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because I can't also remember like what underneath the windows there going off to the page, like was that going to be a driveway? Is that more rocks? I don't remember.
Right. Exactly. This is going to be kind of just a old path when I'm finished. So that's why I put the brown down, because that'll that'll be my base color, and then I will start adding uh, basically vegetation, weeds, little sticks and twigs, just to kind of give you the feeling that there is a path to that building. Um, I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of resting my brain. It's kind of funny. Mark actually makes me. I'm chained to the table here. Uh, I'm one of them guys that I don't sit for a solid hour and paint. I really don't. I get up, I walk around, I talk to myself. Um, so it is kind of fun for me, interesting for me to actually sit for an hour and
Do it!
and do it. Yes, exactly. So this is also an experience for me. Right now, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm adding a little more shadow to the edges of the windows to give it that
3D.
yeah, give it a little more 3D effect. Just kind of darken it in a little bit. Okay, and right here too was another one. I like to kind of break stucco up a little bit. Some few little cracks and lines as I'm coming out from the doorway here. I'm going to add a little more color to that because I think it's a focal point.
Just a reminder, if you're watching live or if you end up watching this in the live stream, any questions you have, leave them in the comments. It may take us a day or two to get to them, but we try to answer as many as we can, and we appreciate any interaction that, if you take the time to write a comment or a suggestion, we try to address it the best we can.
Oh. And not instantly sometimes, because both of us are running around like a chicken with our heads cut off. There we go. But yeah, we will get back to you. There was one person asked the other day about the, where do you get those little Cornell brushes? Well, we explained that. We have a link at my website. We have a link. Where else we got links again?
Usually in the description of every video, I put a link to Keith's website.
There you go.
Either to a page dedicated to the particular painting, or if you just go to the website in general, I do have a recommended materials page right now that has watercolors and will later have illustration and other materials that Keith uses for other types of drawings he does.
Excellent. So
I don't tell him what I'm working on, I just do it.
yeah. We're all right. Right now I'm now starting to I add a little more value on the building, the windows there. Now I'm adding a little more color variation to the ground. I love doing kind of ground. I like how ground is not smooth, it's not a football field. So there's just wonderful little lumps and bumps in it. And what you're doing is you're trying to hit the light is hitting, what's facing the light, I don't know how to say this. The little shadow, in the ground,
the sun's hitting and casting shadows
yes.
on every little bump and roll of the hill.
Exactly. And what one little bump is, the other, creates a shadow behind it, and that's what I'm kind of doing, is I'm filling in and giving some lights and darks to the area. And then, like I did on the other side, I'm going to grab a little bit of this, what did I call it? Oh, Venetian red.
So
He can remember colors.
There you go. So Jennifer asks, Keith, are you going to add more layers? And I think that's kind of what we were touching on. This isn't a finished painting yet by any means. I would guess minimum of 3 more of these sessions, if not more, easy.
Well, I get bored.
I know you do, but
Yeah.
that's why I only let you do it once a week.
All right, fine.
Well, because so you've got, like I said, there's more foreground elements you need to put in, and because it's an area that's going to have to dry,
yes,
that's going to probably be an episode in itself. I figure at least one more just for fine detail and touching up things in areas, darkening lines where you want darkened, or shadows that have started to gotten softer or lightened too much while the paint dried. That's a whole nother episode for sure. Well, and I was giving you a third one just as a benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. The hard part, not the hard part. Part of the fun of watercolors is, you put something in, and then you got to go back to the 2 other areas, and maybe it's a little bit of experimentation as you go along. Now that I've done these values here, I might have to come in and maybe add a little more value to the rock wall now. It's steps, and it's kind of fun. As you add value, a lot of times you have to adjust in other areas, adjust the value, add more value, that kind of thing. So yeah, it is a...
yeah, you might look at it in 2 weeks and go, ooh, that house isn't coming out of the background as much as you'd like.
Yes,
or this element's not standing out as much as you'd like. It's, like I said, when we started even this particular episode today, the painting was still relatively flat, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I think should be added that I'm not going to mention because I don't want to taint Keith's artistic view or something that he might not have wanted to do because it's not my painting. It's Keith's painting, obviously. I give him enough of a hard time sometimes, so I'm not gonna...
I didn't want to do that.
Well, aren't you gonna paint XYZ in that corner there? Because I really think that would make it... Yeah, I'm not gonna do that, but...
No. No, I'm not gonna do that. No, aren't you gonna put a little person in there? No. So, squirrel. Happy squirrels. That's what we're working with. All right. So as you can see, I'm actually adding as a shadow value on my building, I'm adding a bunch of ultramarine blue. Now, I find ultramarine blue to be just one of those major must-have colors in your palette. It plays well with everybody. It's a great mixer. And I use it to make cool skies. I love it for making cool, Michigan skies, as opposed to, a cerulean that might look better in Georgia. A much greener sky, warmer sky. So I love this color.
Is that the same blue you use for your under the water stuff too?
Some.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it depends on what water, you know. We in colder water, same thing. It's a warmer. A lot of times I'll use it as a shadow in my warmer underwater kind of scenes, like, sea turtles and stuff. But no, I usually more on a cerulean, a little warmer blue-green, more to the blue-green rather than, this cooler blue-purple kind of feeling. All right, so where am I at? Here's another thing. Watercolors, okay? Get up. Let it dry. Let it dry. Get up and get away from it. I think that's what I was trying to say earlier. I don't usually just sit and paint. I'm usually get up, I set it. Watercolors, what's the word? The most best place, let's put it that way, to view a watercolor is from about 5 feet away, okay? You don't want to be any closer than that, because then you kind of just see the sausage being made. watercolors are something that you want to kind of step back from a little bit and uh, do it. Get up, look at it, take some time, think about what you're doing. You'll appreciate it if you step away. People get so wrapped up in what they're doing. You want to, you know, relax a little bit and enjoy the process. And part of that process is stepping away from the piece and actually looking at it. I used to do, when I was younger, I'd do these incredibly intricate, detailed, I was a pen and ink artist, do these intricate, ungodly, detailed watercolors that, quite honestly, if they were in a book, you'd go, gosh, that's awesome. But on the wall, and you step away 5 feet, it turned to mud. So you need to kind of know, where is this going? What is it? What are you doing? Is it a notebook? Are you doing little watercolor notes that are right in front of people? Fine, go crazy. But if you're doing a watercolor, you might want to step back and go, let's relax a little bit. Let's loosen it up. So it took me a long time to learn this process, of viewing what you're doing, getting up and getting away from it a little bit too. Like I said, if you're doing an illustration for a book, fine, you can go nuts. But if you're doing something that's going to hang on a wall, you want to get away from it. So there's my big lecture of the day. And I'm serious about this. This is so, I used to go nuts, I'd have every little hair and detail, Like I said, you get back from it and you go, oh, that's kind of not what I wanted, So I have relaxed quite a bit. My students have forced me to relax quite a bit too. And also, I'm not doing a whole lot of book illustrations, so I'm hanging on walls. So I had to learn. It's a growing process. It was a growing process. And yeah, watercolors, quite honestly, I've been doing it for 40 years, and man, I learn something new every day. It's not, it's one of those mediums that, there's a rule for everything. And there's a way to break every rule too. So it's just such a wide open medium that you can just learn forever. It's a fun thing. It's a fun. Like I said, I've never gotten tired of it. I've gotten frustrated with it, but never tired with it. Okay, I'm going to, now that I've done my big story, I'm gonna drag a little color into these forward walls. Now, as you can see how I kind of just, not wet, I'm just kind of dragging some dry color in there.
Okay, I couldn't tell what those were gonna be. That's what I was trying to address earlier.
Oh.
That those are more walls, but they're in the front of the...
Front of it, yeah, exactly.
All right, I see it now.
So kind of an Irish, kind of a Irish, like I said, well, maybe, who knows, even New England kind of thing. Wherever they had a lot of rock in the field, that they had to clear, there was always a good reason to build a wall, It keeps your sheep in too, So, but yeah, that's what I loved about. I was trying to figure out in Hawaii, what the heck were they building walls for? Keep your turtles from moving too far inland, or I have no idea. I secretly think it was busy work for the native folk. All right, so what I've done is I've kind of just hit it with a little bit of color just to break it up a little bit. And now again, I have to kind of let it dry.
So what are we right about the hour? So if
that's what I was going to say. I'm kind of at that point where I do got to kind of stop and get away from it and look at it. See where we're going to go with this. I know there's more vegetation I want to add, and I think this is
Slide it towards me a little bit.
this is a good time. I think to take a break. So I want to thank everybody for watching.
Yeah. So
Keep watching.
thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to hit that little notification bell so you know when we do these again. That'd be appreciated as well. Again, follow the link in the description, and you can purchase any of the materials that Keith used in today's paintings, or most of his paintings. If you use the link, we get a little kickback. It's greatly appreciated. If you just want to use those lists as check marks or a shopping list to use at your local art supply center, by all means, support the few local ones that are left.
Yep, both of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
We lost one recently. It's kind of sad. So, thank you again. We will be back some point next week. One day we'll figure out what day we're going to do these every week. But
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll have some new content soon. And if you haven't already, do check out Keith's website, because he also has some prints for sale. A little bit different than this. Got some birds. I think there's bananas, oranges,
Tweedles.
So, lots of stuff coming, lots of stuff we've done already. But we do appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Bye, everybody.
We need an outro song. He's Keith, he's Keith, he paints